You're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Transcendent. Transcendent is a weekly Facebook Live broadcast of San Antonio in black, white, and brown, also known as SABWB. So let's talk about that. What is SABWB? It's a leadership space where biblically worldview-minded influencers from every race, position, and perspective converge for very specific purposes. The first is kind of an A-B purpose, 1A, 1B, is to locate one another, and then secondly, build trust. Next, the second goal is to collaborate or work together, both on the value of principles and the implementation of principles that shape the culture. So ultimately, we want to shape the culture. We're supposed to. It's supposed to be salt and light. Matthew 13:33 says that we are as yeast, and we are supposed to affect the whole thing. In other words,
I'm going to go to commercial. You sound like a robot.
I'm sounding a little garbled on this end. Our impact should be global. That was the commission.
Hello, my name is Kathy Carizales, and I'm here to invite you to the I Pray experience here in person at 8023 Vantage Drive, Suite 313, or watch us on Facebook Live at SABWBTX. We are excited to pray for the needs of the city or our government, and we hope that you can join us, like I said, online or in person. It is the Lord's desire that we would spend time with Him and get His job done on earth. God bless you, and I hope to see you.
All right, I'm here in Rwanda, and we're up in the coffee farms right now. So I've been telling you about the upcoming Be Easy Coffee organic premium coffee. And these are beans that I have in my hand. These are brand new beans. There's already a harvest already in place. These are just the early parts of the second harvest. And these beds that you see that are now empty will be full of organic premium coffee beans. And you have an opportunity to get a bag of Be Easy coffee for yourself. And we're going to work, of course, as I said before, on the San Antonio blend for SABWB. You'll be able to get your coffee mug and sip premium organic coffee. I told you it was coming, and it's on the way. Okay. So we're talking tonight about the championship level believer part 2, the winning way. If we, just as a pre-notice, if we go out again, we have technical difficulties and have to go out again. I'm going to return, but I'm going to return to my Facebook page only. Hopefully we won't have to do that, but if it does, the system kicks me out again, I'm going to just go only from my Facebook. So for now, we're gonna hang right here and see if we can do it in the multi-channel broadcasting way that we normally do, Transcendent. And so, yes, our goal is to shape the culture. You are helping that happen by your continual giving. Thank you in advance for doing that. There are ways you can give, the most reliable of which is to go online at sabwb.org and give there by use of online giving. You can also mail us a check, 8023 Vantage Drive, Suite 313. I received some things today at that address. It wasn't a check, but it was some stuff that I'll be using over the next week because of some events that's upcoming that I'll tell you about in just a minute. But you can give in those ways. You can give online. You can give by way of checks to 8023 Vantage Drive, Suite 313. The zip code here is 78230. We're working on the other options, other giving options to make sure that you have ease and convenience in giving in whatever way you desire to give to us. And so thank you in advance for that. And thank all of you who are also our regular monthly partners. It's you who make things happen with our annual conferences, with our mixers each month, with events like it's happening next Monday night with the Men of the Hood. So thank you as we pursue the vision to bring the city of San Antonio together in a very intentional way under the auspices of the rule of the kingdom of God, not under our rule, not under me. I'm not seeking to be anything, only what God has called me to be, just as you are, seeking to be what he's called you to be. And together we get to do that in the city of San Antonio. So we're thankful, very, very thankful for it. We've got some goals and aspirations God has given us to reach without Outpouring Missions International to include a school, youth empowerment school, that will open the fall of 2027. We targeted this year, 2026. Didn't meet that target because of accreditation matters. So we had to work through accreditation process and they'd be ready to hit the ground running in September of 2027. Say September because we're going to wait to start after the Labor Day weekend in September of next year. But every day we're still working toward it, and every day my heart is ever enthralled with the notion of being able on a day-to-day basis to assemble a staff that will both educate and train and motivate a whole generation of young people to get a hold of the things of God real early in their lives and blow away the fog of the day. There's a lot of fog to blow away, to get clear vision for what God has called them to do. And I've seen it happen to young people before, so I'm so addicted to it. When it happens inside of them, something about their own youthful energy, their own creativity, their own spin on that thing is beautiful to behold. It's addictive to me to behold it. So I'm thankful that I have an opportunity and an assignment from the Lord to help that happen with Youth Empowerment School and the Empowerment Center Network. We're doing some things in the background to make sure that all that we're doing is presented well online. Our online image and what that structure looks like is also being worked as we speak. But I want to thank you in advance. Thank you for those of you who are supporting the work here and all that. We are targeting so much, so many things. The reason I'm 65 years old, but the reason I feel like in many respects a new aspect of my life has started, and it's exciting and fulfilling. It is because of what's laid before me, the assignment given to me for the city of San Antonio, SABWB, for the nations without Missions International, for young people with Youth Empowerment School and their parents with the Empowerment Center Network. All of that is to see it unfold and to watch God do it at this stage of my life. I'm having a blast, and I'm thankful to God for it. So you get to be a part of that with your continued giving. Thank you in advance for giving to the cause of Christ and to the works that He has assigned our hands to do, because it's in my hands, it's also in our hands. Your giving ways are on the screen there. Go to sabwb.org and give there, or write us a check, and let's get this thing on the road. So let me give you a couple of announcements. Come back to me. Let me give a couple of announcements and tell you how we're going to look at this. A couple of things we're looking forward to doing prior to me getting into the meat of our lesson today. I have an announcement for you, and this announcement I've been making but I'm going to make it again tonight. A week from last night. This is Tuesday, so a week from last night, which would have been Monday. This coming Monday, June 22nd, the 22nd of June. Hungry men, hungry in more than one way, are meeting at 2931 South W.W. White Road. It's on the grounds, the great Jubilee Outreach. Pastor Joe Morales and his wife, Letty Morales, founded that church, and that church has been birthed out of a move of revival and fire and spirit here in the city of San Antonio. Some of you will recall and remember, if you've been around long enough, or if you've listened to the saints here long enough, to remember the Taylor Tabernacle Revival. It included a man named E.O. Allen, which many years ago, more than 3 decades ago now, closer to 4 decades ago, I had an opportunity to, when I was on radio at that time, had an opportunity to interview him about the Taylor Tabernacle Revival, because he was an integral part of it. A.P. Taylor, of course, Reverend Taylor, whose name is placed on the revival, the Taylor Tabernacle Revival. 11 years straight, every day for 11 years, 2 services a day, not just Sundays, not just Saturdays and Sundays, every day of the week, Monday to Monday, to Sunday to Sunday, 2 days every day for 11 years straight. Incredible miracles happening. Jubilee Outreach was birthed out of that. This is what I'm telling you. And Pastor Joe has recently turned the reins of that ministry over to his son, a man of God in his own right, Pastor Ben Morales. They'll be serving as our host for the upcoming Men of the Hood. The Men of the Hood event is designed to place emphasis in the month of June where it should be being placed. We're halfway through the year, and it is a time for reflection and forecasting, reflecting, looking back, see how you've done the first half of the year, and forecasting, looking forward to what you anticipate being able to embrace and do in the second half of this year. And right at that fulcrum is the family. And so June is the biblical family month. We're focusing on this biblical family. Third Sunday in June has always been Father's Day, well, it hasn't always been, but it started in 1909. Sonora Small Dodd sitting in a church listening to a sermon about mothers. Her own heart was struck by the value of her father in her life. And so she began to push the idea that there needed to be a day for fathers, just as there was already a day for mothers. Calvin Coolidge in 1924 served as our president. He lifted that notion to a nationwide platform by speaking favorably about Father's Day. And then finally, of course, in the early 70s, Richard Nixon formally made Father's Day a day of celebration as the 3rd Sunday in the month of June. And we're coming up on Father's Day this coming Sunday. Father's Day is June 21st this year, Sunday, June 21st. And the day following, Monday, June 22nd, all you fathers, all of you brothers, all of you men, I need you to do something this week. Plenty of men have already beat you to it, but I need you to act on it. Go to sabwb.org, and as you trail down the page, in fact, the very first event there after the introductory video is an icon inviting you as men to join us at 6 o'clock on Monday, June the 22nd at 2931 South W.W. White Road for Men of the Hood. Men of the Hood. And we call it Men of the Hood because we're focusing on manhood, brotherhood, fatherhood, and neighborhood. Hence the term Men of the Hood. And it has the neighborhood is the neighborhood needs us. Every neighborhood needs godly men who understand their own weight and their own value in their homes and in their respective stations in life, and who are willing to come together to multiply that impact exponentially. And so we have been doing that, and we will continue to do that with your help. That this momentum just keeps growing and growing, growing until the kingdom, until the glory of the Lord fills the earth like the waters cover the sea. And you and I get to be a part of that. I'm grateful for that. So join us next Monday, June 22nd, for Men of the Hood at 2931 South W.W. White Road, Jubilee Outreach. And come hungry too. Come hungry for physical food, because Art Silver will have the Big Grizz working. The Big Grizz is a 16-foot grill, and he's throwing brisket and barbecue chicken on it with all of its attending sides. I can't wait to serve all of you in that way and be able to not only enjoy good Texas barbecue and food, but also to sit at the table of the Lord and break his word, share the word of God with you. A team of speakers will be doing that in discussion times afterwards, and then a CTAs, calls to action. Because I mean, they're not just about listening, they're about doing. And so baked into the process is some calls to action that will really be life-changing and life-challenging for you. So thank you in advance for that as well. Go to our website, sabwv.org, register there for that event. Starts at 6 o'clock, the day after Father's Day, June 22nd, 2931 South W.W. White Road. All right, you just saw the commercial concerning a call to prayer, and I want to encourage you wherever, especially now in the time in which we live, I want to encourage you every time you have an opportunity. Men ought to always pray. It says over in the book of Thessalonians, it says pray without ceasing there. And that's the way it says it. Pray without ceasing. And it says in another place, men ought always to pray. Men ought always pray, lifting up their holy hands before God, without wrath and without doubting. So there's a responsibility you and I have to press into the place of prayer. We invite you to do so. Join us every Friday as we join together in prayer online. And we're thankful to the Lord for having you join us in that. Okay, so let's break over into our subject for tonight. Our subject tonight is championship level living, the winning way. This is part 2. We are here in our city, in the city of San Antonio. We're celebrating a championship level team. The San Antonio Spurs are Western Conference champions. And in just thinking about it, thinking about the championship phenomenon, it's not the first time I've thought about that nor spoken along these lines, but certainly because of the climate in our city, this is all worth reviewing. I'm going to be doing some harder hitting things over the second half of this year, because there's a need for it. There's a need to rewrite some narratives, particularly in very specific spaces. There's a need to rewrite narratives, re-speak them, make declaration concerning them, because it has to do with breaking free from traditional schools of thought that can often hold not just an individual, but a whole group of people with it these invisible bonds of limitation that we operate within, and almost unknowingly sometimes. And it's not until those invisible bars are broken and the fresh wind of freedom blows into that cave and calls us out of it to step into the destiny God has a purpose and a plan for us to operate in. I'm going to be focusing more and more the second half of 2026 on those things. As we're moving toward 2027 and the start of the youth empowerment school and all of that. I'm telling you, it's a thrilling time of life for me. I'm grateful to God to be alive, first and foremost, and to have an opportunity with an assignment on my life to touch the lives of others. The value of our life is not based on what we can get out of it. It's what we leave. It's not what we receive. It's what we give. And I'm in a real joyous giving time in this season of my life, and I'm thankful for it. You might note, just as a second aside, that I'm wearing a shirt tonight, the VBS shirt. I'm a volunteer. I'm an honorary member of the VBS Volunteer Squad, Vacation Bible School. Young people's lives are being summers here, and the young people need constructive ways to use their time and not whittle it all away, doing nothing the whole summer, but doing something that is constructive and life building. VBSs are a part of that. With that in mind, I want to say to you that the Community Bible Church is happening, I think it's this weekend, June 18th and 19th, at the Freeman Coliseum. If you're here in town and you're in middle school or high school, and you're looking for a way to have your summer impacted, for God to use you to be inspired, I'm not sure if registration for the event is closed yet or not, but I don't think they would turn you away to have an opportunity to join them this weekend, as they have great things planned to impact the lives of not only young people involved in the Community Bible Church, but the young people of San Antonio. So, and I trust Pastor Ed Newton and I trust his staff to be able to powerfully impact the lives of young people. So don't hesitate to make sure that your folks are a part of what will be happening at the Freeman Coliseum this weekend, June 18th and 19th. And then send Daddy, go with Daddy to church on Sunday, and then send Daddy to Men of the Hood next Monday night, June 22nd. I want to also announce to you that I will be leaving town on the 24th, headed over to San Francisco, California. My wife and I will be going there to meet with a national board council on the African American Council. I told you about rewriting narrative. Some stuff has to change. It has to change. And I'm not the only person that's seeing and knowing it. There are others that God has already given them established platforms of influence, and those are also growing you're going to see some stuff happen. It's going to seem like overnight. It's not been overnight. It's been a very long and arduous journey to get where we are. But according to the timing of the Lord, things are accelerating rapidly. And we're thanking God for the stuff he's doing. So we'll be in San Francisco the 24th to the 27th of next week, hammering some things out with other great minds that God has called to this assignment to rewrite this African American narrative and begin to focus on what is happening with our young people in the urban inner city and wasted in an early death as they bled out on the street, or they have been incarcerated and isolated from mankind. And in that situation, in incarceration, their behaviors can spiral downward. Something has to happen. God has to intervene. But God is not going to come in a bodily form himself. He did that once with Jesus Christ, and he came and did everything he needed to do. Now the body forms that he has left here is you and me. And we have this humongous assignment to impact the world for his glory and with his glory. And we're glad to be able to do that with others and given our own personal assignments, but also doing it with others. We're grateful to the Lord for that. So keep us in your prayers. The reason I brought that up for next week, the 22nd with the men of our city here in San Antonio, and the 24th through the 27th in San Francisco, as we converge and pray and come away from that with joint assignment to rewrite narratives and see a different story told and glorify God in every aspect of our culture here in the United States of America. So we're thankful to the Lord for it. Now tonight, let's hone in on championship level believers, those of the winning way. This is part two. Last week we were talking about this very subject. And I told you that this week we're going to break this down a little bit and kind of walk with you through some key things that make that build this whole notion of a championship level believer, and how do you get there as a believer. We defined champion for you last time, and I'll reiterate or restate the definition for a championship level believer. What is a champion? A champion is one who has defeated all opponents. By definition, a champion is one who has defeated all opponents. And certain things are implied there. You can't think about champion without thinking about the reality of conflict. Because if he or she has defeated their opponents, and that means that they have been opposed. Someone has come against them with the intention of denying them ascent to the place that they have sought to rise, to which they have sought to rise. And that some have come to stop that process and prevent them from getting there, perhaps while seeking to get there themselves. So you have this competition that is engaged when you are a championship level believer. But I wanted to just speak to you about, and I used an analogy last time too with this young team that we have here in the city of San Antonio, the San Antonio Spurs. They're Western Conference champions, and they made a serious bid, at least through 3/4 of a 4-quarter game. They made a serious bid for national champion, NBA championship. But just thinking about it for a little bit, what does it take in that world to be a champion? And here's the first thing I think that is worth examination. Since a champion is one who has defeated all opponents, one that has, through those contests with opponents, proven him or herself as an individual or as a team themselves to be visibly declared at the top of their game and at the top of the heap of the pursuit that they're after. In this case, it's basketball. But what would make, and why did we draw to our televisions and other social media devices that allowed us to witness the broadcasting of the contest between our Spurs and other teams? And then advertisers knew you would be there. And so they paid lots of money to put their own wares before you while you're viewing. That whole notion, where does it come? And that was important to many of us. To many of us. If you're like my household, there was yelling during the game, and sometimes the yelling was out of frustration, like, come on, how do you blow a 29-point lead? Come on! And all of those things going on. Why was that attractive? And it's not that way with everybody. I'm in the building right now. I'm in the office complex here at the 8023 Vantage Drive. And one of the security guards, because I'm here later than the normal flow of traffic, one of the security guards had to help me get back into the office. I left late that night and walked out of the door, gathered my stuff, and walked out of the door and forgot that my keys were still on my desk in that office right back there. So I got with the security guard down in security and asked him to come up and help me, open this office area for me so I can get my keys and go home. And as I was talking to him about it, he's a young man too, so it wasn't like, somebody older than me. But he was totally disinterested in his words to me were, because I was kind of watching Spurs. Like, you're a Spurs fan? Like, I'm not anybody's fan. So I don't like watching the sport. I like playing it. So I like playing it too, but I don't watch it. I said, so you just don't watch basketball? He said, I don't really watch any sport at all. And I was a little taken aback that a healthy looking anyway, young man who himself participated by his own admission and in athletics, and his body said the same, but he was totally uninterested. He plays the sport. He's not interested in watching it. He's more interested in playing it. I began to think, what motivates one person doesn't motivate another. What is exciting, what is attention grabbing for one person is for the next person. Makes you want to be a champion. What makes you want to face and defeat every opposition on your way to achieving that goal that's in your mind or heart. I want to share some thoughts with you along that line tonight before we have to go. Time is swiftly running, so I want to make good use of our time together tonight. In order to be a champion level believer, there
must be a compelling goal. There must be a compelling goal. That goal has to be presented to you and presented to you in a way that convinces you that spending your life's energy to achieve the goal presented is a worthwhile, not just a worthwhile pursuit, it has to be worthwhile, but it has to be worthy of your effort. It has to have impact and value to you and impact and value through you to others in a way that you are compelled to give yourself to it. What makes a believer, and as I begin to think about that, a million thoughts rush into my head. I want to share some of them with you out of the passage of scripture tonight. I think I started with Romans, the 8th chapter. Romans, the 8th chapter. And let's begin to look at, I think it's around verse 29. Let me get there real quick. You're familiar with Romans 8:28. I think you're very familiar with it. I begin to quote it. Yeah, I know that one. For we know that all things work together for good. For we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called, according to his purpose. According to his purpose. So I need to tell you that the goal that you are pursuing, you're only pursuing that goal because something has been presented to you that says the achievement of that goal is your energy. And here's the goal in the very next verse. For whom he, that is God, did foreknow, he did also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son. What's been presented to the believer is the image of his Son. What God presents to the wayward heart of mankind is the image of his Son. Now, keep your hand on Romans, we're coming back to it, but go over to the book of Hebrews with me. Hebrews chapter 1. Hebrews chapter 1. God, I'm starting to read in verse 1 of chapter 1. God was sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past unto our fathers by the prophets, and in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, and by whom also he made the worlds. It was by the Son that he made the worlds, who being, this starts to describe the Son. Verse 3, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person. The Son is the brightness of God's glory. He is the full manifestation of everything that God is in human form. In the form of this being found in fashion as a man, he became as one of us. God became as one of us. And as a man, he humbled himself, became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross, as open Philippians. Wherefore God has highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. The Son is the brightness. He is the full, unbridled expression of God's true nature. The glory of a thing is the full expression of that thing's true nature. It's often described, well, I've used this description before, that to see something in its glory is like a rose when the dew, it's the evening dew is falling and the morning dew is falling upon it, its petals are closed. And when the sun rises, that the petals start to unfold. By late morning, it's completely unfurled, and it's giving off all of its effervescence. The odor of the smell of it is coming off the surface of the rose and out of the stem, and all of the stuff that's involved to make that scent happen. It's attractive to the bees and attractive to the birds. Around 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30, that rose is in its full glory. Well, Jesus was the expressed image of the Father. He was God in his full glory. And the Father presented his Son, Jesus, to the wayward heart of man, who, by the way, he had also created from the narrative. We understand back in the book of Genesis, it says that God said in verse 26 of Genesis 1, let us make man in our own image and after our own likeness, and let them have dominion. So, having formed man from the dust of the ground, breathed into his nostrils, Genesis 2:7, the breath of life, and man became a living soul. God placed in him, God having built something in him that he knew. God knew that when he sees who the Son is, his heart is going to be one. His heart's going to want to become like what he sees. So for you and me, the desire for championship level living is not trying to see who's the biggest and the strongest and whatever. For us, championship level living is Romans 8:29. It says in Romans chapter 8, verse 29, for whom he did foreknow, and he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son. Our pursuit, our championship level pursuit, is to be like Jesus. Just to be like Jesus. Oh, how I want to be like him. So meek and lowly, so pure and holy. Oh, I want to be like him. There's something about beholding Jesus in the brightness of his glory. And we understand that when we look at Jesus, we're looking in the face of the Father. Because Jesus said concerning himself, if you've seen me, Philip, then you've seen the Father. And something in our hearts, we not only see him in the narrative, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, in the Gospels, we see him there, but we see him more than there. We see him with the eyes of our faith, and we see him in his glory. And that view is like a moth being drawn to a flame. flame to commit suicide. He's drawn by the glow. He's drawn by the glow and the warmth of that flame. We see Jesus and the championship level life that Jesus lived. Because when we look at him, behold him. This is why Pilate's statement over in the book of John is so telling. You may not remember, so I'll take you there by way of remembrance. John records Jesus is on trial before Pilate. And they brought him up to make a fool out of him in a mock court. And Pilate examines him. And after having ill-treated him and humiliated him, thinking that in so doing he would pacify the jealousies and the insecurities of the people that had delivered him to him, Pilate says, behold the man. Behold the man. But how profound are those words? Because when we do behold him, even in those negative circumstances that was happening around him at the moment, we see one who is a champion in life. We see one who, even when Pilate was asking him about, I'll read a little portion of that for you. In the 18th chapter of the Gospel of John. I'll start in verse 28. Then led Jesus and Caiaphas into the hall of judgment, and it was early, and they themselves went out into the judgment hall lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover. Pilate then went out.
Your audio seems to be having some issues. I'm going to go to commercial. You need to go out and come back in.
I'm going to go out and come back in. I'm going to come back in on my Facebook page.
Okay.
Finally, Be Easy Coffee is here. Within a few weeks, you'll be able to purchase Be Easy Coffee online. And as you sip premium organic coffee, you will be supporting SABWB and lifting nations halfway around the world out of poverty and out of disease. Your corporation and your partnership with SABWB and Be Easy Coffee is more than coffee. It's coffee with a cause.